This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. So what do you do? Information about getting involved in advanced technology careers, making everything from clean energy to life-saving medicine, is available at dreamitdoitvirginia.com. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.
Welcome to This Week in Richmond, and a very special welcome to the Secretary of Education, Anne Holton. Thank you so much for being on This Week in Richmond. We were talking just a minute or so before we started taping the program about the fact that the last time I had the opportunity to interview you, we had the delightful setting in Galax at the Fiddlers Convention.
Yes.
So we're glad to have you here in the studio at the General Assembly building. We'll tell our viewers that we're having a conversation on Monday, the 14th of July. You'll be talking very shortly about some things that are happening this week, and by the time our viewers see it, some of the first meetings will have occurred. But thank you so much for being on, for your advocacy over the years on behalf of children. That's been, anyone who knows anything about your biography knows that of your concern about children, both as a legal aid lawyer, a JD judge here in Richmond, and someone who's worked in that area, someone who's lived now twice in the governor's mansion. So welcome as Secretary of Education. So tell our viewers about what's happening this week with standards of learning.
Yes, thank you, David. Well, first, I'm just delighted to be here. Yes, that time we got to sit outside in Galax and chat was a delight, but it's always fun to be with you. You do great work, and it's fun to be part of it. Yes, we have a very exciting week in the Secretary of Education's office. Tomorrow, we kick off our Standards of Learning Innovation Committee. And this is a committee that was called for by Governor McAuliffe on the campaign trail and supported in a bipartisan way in the General Assembly this year. And the General Assembly gave me the responsibility of pulling this group together. And it is a very impressive group of people, educators, parents, community representatives from all across the Commonwealth, coming together to look at our whole accountability and assessment system and what can we do for the next generation of assessments here in Virginia.
So you're coming out of a General Assembly session that really reduced the number of tests that are taken.
Yeah, the same legislation that created the Innovation Committee took some significant first steps, reduced the number of tests at the K through 8 level by 5, which was a very significant reduction. But the goal was not simply to take away tests, but rather to how can we look at our whole assessment system. We've been using basically the system we have now for about 20 years. We really kind of got out ahead of the nation a little bit on this back in the 90s, and have now had enough experience with the system that we have some sense of its strengths and some of the challenges that have come with it. And so definitely some of the feeling in the General Assembly this year is that we simply had too many tests, that teachers and students were under too much pressure and too much time filling in bubble dots taking away from actual learning. So one of the first steps certainly was to reduce the number of tests, and we didn't completely. We took away the standardized tests. We were very clear in the General Assembly and the legislation that those subjects are still going to be taught, and that the localities are still expected to assess their students' work on it, and the Board of Education and the localities are figuring out exactly what that means in those subjects. But now this work of the committee will be to carry on from there, and where can we go from here in terms of, after 20 years of this system and knowing what its strengths and its weaknesses are, what's the next generation? We can really be a leader nationally on this, and we're excited about the possibilities.
You know, I think a very, very important thing that you said is that the subject matter still will be taught.
Absolutely.
Because I guess some of the concern that gets raised at times, if you eliminate a test, then will that subject area not get as much emphasis as the one that has the test?
Right. So for instance, some of the science tests got taken out of the elementary school age, but you know, I hope that teachers are still certainly required by the standards of learning curriculum is still there, so the teachers are still expected to teach that curriculum, but I'm hoping they're going to be freed up to teach it in ways that are going to be exciting young people's curiosity. Really, one of my lenses that I look at our whole SOL innovation work through, and that I'm going to be introducing as part of 2 or 3 lenses I'm going to ask our committee to look at when we meet tomorrow is what can we do to help enhance the joy of learning and teaching. I read a quote recently from a teacher of the year from Arkansas who recently was part of a luncheon with President Obama. He sat down with a group of teachers working in high poverty school districts that were facing enormous challenges but doing well despite those challenges, and asked them what works. You know, why are you still teaching where you are when it's so hard, and what makes it work? And that teacher of the year told him responsibility and delight can coexist in education.
I like that.
Isn't that a great quote?
Yes.
Responsibility and delight can coexist, and that's one of the charges I hope to give to our innovation committee tomorrow, that we can be responsible, we can know that our teachers are teaching what they're supposed to be teaching, and that our students are learning what they're supposed to be learning without squeezing all the joy out of it.
You know, one of the reasons that we have these TV shows when the General Assembly is not in session is to help remind people that something is going on, something is happening. That just because the General Assembly is not meeting, it doesn't mean there's not work. And so we're now 6 months away from the January session. And so people interested in the SOL, Standard of Learning, will want to stay very much in tune with what this
And this committee is going to be working very hard between now and then. I mean, the committee is meant to be an ongoing one to advise and consult on these topics. But we'll also certainly be we're hoping to come up with some quick, low-hanging fruit suggestions for next year's General Assembly session around the issues of what more can we do to inspire creativity and joy? What more can we do to help some of our struggling schools do better by their students? One of the challenges of the existing SOL system is it does a really good job of identifying who's doing well and who's not. It does not do a good job of helping bring up the bottom. One of the unfortunate consequences of the system we're using now is any teacher in a school, you know, all of our really struggling schools are in high poverty communities. They just go together. The community challenges, not just the challenges of individual poverty, but of wraparound, extreme, community-wide poverty, are formidable for education, and that's across the country. And so we have a number of schools in high poverty communities that are struggling and not doing well, not doing anywhere close to where we want them to be doing on behalf of their students. But the accountability system has done a better job at identifying them than helping them improve. Among other things, one of the current pressures is it chases our best teachers away from those schools. If you're putting all these pressures on teachers to grading teachers by how students are doing, and then the teachers who are have options in those schools that are under all this pressure are like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go find a teaching gig where I'm being given a little bit more realistic goals. And so one of the things we hope to do is keep all of our communities to high standards, but also figure out how to reward schools that might have come from here to here, but not quite made it over the hump to match the benchmarks. Right now we call them failing still, even though they've
Yes.
made huge progress. Or schools, many of these schools are starting out with young people who just have such deficits. There was a study recently that said a typical low-income student comes into the door on the first day of class at the beginning of their school career having heard 30 million fewer spoken words than a child from a wealthier background. Isn't that an amazing statistic?
Oh, it is.
And so these young people, it's not just that they aren't learning to read, they don't have the spoken vocabulary, they don't have simply the exposure to communications. And that's for a lot of reasons and a lot of history there. But when these teachers come in and help those young people move huge strides forward from where they started, but not quite make it to a benchmark, and we tell them that that's a failure, then that's a problem. So that's another one of the lenses we're going to be looking at the SOL reform through.
You know, over this weekend, the Richmond Times-Dispatch had a very interesting article about a teacher ed program where they were taking the students here in the city of Richmond to visit different neighborhoods where students come to different schools. And there were some very interesting quotes by the young people who were in the teacher ed program about seeing the communities and knowing something about the communities. And I suppose back in my day, teachers knew the communities, but now they may not that much. So it would seem like a good effort being made.
That's an excellent program. That's the Richmond Teacher Residency that's being run out of the VCU Ed School on behalf of the Richmond City Schools, and it's moving into its third year, so it's still a fairly new program, but doing great work. And really, when you think about these struggling schools in high poverty communities, the three keys, and the JLARC report that recently came out on this topic identified, I think absolutely rightly, the three keys for what do we do to help these schools do better. And it doesn't take rocket science to say you've got to have great teachers, you got to attract and retain great teachers.
Right.
You've got to have the right curriculum, and we're moving towards more sophisticated, individualized curriculum. And then you've got to have the wraparound community support services so that these kids show up at school healthy and ready to learn, so that they're not moving 6 times during the school year. All the things that come with poverty. So you've really got to do teachers, curriculum, and community piece. And that Richmond Teacher Residency Program is a huge step along the way of getting great teachers. Its stated goal is to attract and retain long-term teachers in high poverty communities.
Thinking about another one of your passions in early childhood education, pre-K.
Absolutely one of the keys to helping address the achievement gap in these high poverty communities, but really throughout, is early childhood. The research is clear that helping get started early, really not just pre-K, but the whole early childhood world. What do we do to help families from, I like to say 0 to 5, but I hear Secretary Hazel over my shoulder reminding me, he likes to say pre-0, so prenatal up through 5, and really up through 3rd grade is such a crucial time for children. If we can be getting children and families the support they need, involving parents. So many young parents don't have much in the way of effective role models for parenting, don't have the extended family support that maybe we did in an earlier age. And some of our early home visiting programs, as well as our child care programs and early and pre-K really help address those needs in a very powerful way. And it's going to be one of our administration's priorities, how we can help support and enhance those programs.
You know, I've heard the statement made, and from your time on the bench, you would know whether this is somewhat accurate or not, is that if we don't spend money in early childhood education, we're going to spend more with juvenile delinquency and juveniles being committed at that time? And I mean, it always just seems so logical that.
Absolutely. This is absolutely one of those opportunities where a little bit spent ahead of time can save money down the line. And in fact, it saves it even sooner than way down the line, because you save in terms of kids having to repeat grades. You know, if you can get a child in for an early childhood, a pre-K year, and save them from having to repeat third grade, then you make short-term savings even, and then all the long-term savings of having that child think of themselves as not a learner or not a succeeder. If the child comes through their early education experiences thinking of themselves as on a path to success and able to learn and learn to love to learn, then you're getting those young people off on a completely different trajectory than the one they might have been on otherwise.
So it would appear that even on the economics of it, that it's much more advantageous to spend the money there. So I know when that issue has come up, and it's come up in previous administrations, previous General Assemblies, there's been reluctance on the part of some.
I think the evidence is very, very strong, especially in the at-risk context. And I'll qualify it to say the evidence is very strong that high-quality pre-K, especially in at-risk communities, is economically overwhelmingly the right thing to do. It has to be high quality pre-K. And I'm very proud of the initiative that my husband's administration helped move along, the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation, partnering with the Department of Social Services, this quality rating initiative that's working to bring up the quality of our child care and pre-K programs all across the state. And we'll be working on those efforts as well. To make sure that child care isn't just keeping children safe while parents work, but that is it being intentional, that teachers have the preparation they need and the professional development, ongoing professional development to be having productive interactions with young people.
We could spend the entire time talking about these areas, but your secretariat includes higher education.
It does.
So we should have you tell our viewers some about Virginia's higher ed and what your secretariat is doing.
Virginia's blessed with a very, very strong higher education system, as you know. Our four-year colleges have some of the strongest in the nation for public universities. And we have a wide variety of four-year colleges that meet so many different needs all across the Commonwealth. And we are blessed with a community college system where I worked previously that is one of the strongest in the nation. Here's an interesting fact, David, that not everybody knows, but our community colleges are more and more a part of, they're a bigger and bigger part of our higher education system, and currently about half of all students in Virginia who are engaging in any kind of higher education in the public sector are in our community colleges. It's really, the community colleges all combined are more than all the other 4 years combined.
Oh, that is an interesting fact. I remember hearing some years ago that the largest college in Virginia, I think, was Northern Virginia Community College.
Yeah, it's exactly
when you put all their campuses together.
Yeah, exactly right. And the community colleges are all part of a system, the Virginia Community College system. So they're not just individual colleges. They're working under a joint, working in a joint way with each other under joint administration. So put them all together, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of students. And it's everybody from it's students who are doing 2 years there and then transferring on to our flagship universities and going on to higher ed degree, postgraduate work, the whole range. And it's the Midland kid who might not have made it directly into a 4-year, but going into a 2-year program. And some of them coming out with degrees and credentials where they're making more money than the 4-year kids after the end of 4 years if they've found their way into one of these high demand fields. It's folks transitioning from other careers later in life, going back to community college to get technical training, credentials, a lot of workforce programs, everything from the 6-week truck driver program up to the 2-year dental hygiene programs. The community colleges are very much a consumer-oriented. What's the need? Can we meet it? And they look to the need. They look to what are the students' needs, but they also look to what are the business community's needs.
So you mentioned workforce, because I know workforce development from your involvement with the community college systems previously and now in your secretariat, that's a major part, both of the community colleges and I guess four-year institutions too, in
Yes.
preparing people for the workforce.
Absolutely, and it is a major focus of Governor McAuliffe's efforts to improve our economy statewide by making sure we have the workforce that businesses need to help develop here in Virginia.
We're going to make sure that we have up on the screen the websites that both the website that shows all the agencies and the boards that are in your secretariat, and they'll see that also under your secretariat falls Virginia's museums.
Yes, which is such a treat. I love that. The Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, the Science Museum, Gunston Hall, there are 4 or 5 museums and art institutions, and it's just a delight to get to interact with those. They all have very strong leaders. The Library of Virginia, they all have very strong leaders and don't need a lot of my oversight, but it's fun to get to participate.
And they have their boards. The governor appoints people to the boards, as do the, I guess, policy boards like Board of Education and community college boards. You have some major boards.
It's a funny thing about my job, David, that my secretariat, even more than others, let's just say that well, one of the reasons I think Governor McAuliffe thought of me for this job is that I have had some experience using the bully pulpit, even when one's authority is shared with others, shall we say. Let's just put it this way. The college presidents and rectors of the boards of visitors of our four-year institutions don't think I am their boss, that's for sure, and neither do the school boards that run all the K-12 systems all across Virginia. So one of the exciting parts about my role is that I need to, I must, and I get to work in collaboration with all those great education leaders.
And an opportunity to challenge them in certain areas too.
Absolutely, challenge, nudge, pull, push, and partner with them, and because they, really most of our great ideas come from them. How can we help them help our students? And
the superintendent of education fits in that in a very significant way. I'm not sure that many other secretariats have someone in as major a position as the state superintendent of education.
And it's an interesting position in another way, in that it is, I think, one of the very few agency heads that is appointed for a term consistent with the governor's term. So the superintendent of public instruction is unique among the agency heads in that way. And we've hired a great new state superintendent of public instruction in Steve Staples.
Well, now, as you take a look and you know how quickly these four-year terms go, you have been there.
Yes.
You've seen it from another angle. 3.5 years remaining, so SOL reforms and all that reform, are there other issues that kind of rise to the top for Governor McAuliffe and the work that you're doing that you'd want to mention that you see as some of the major pushes, whether the bully pulpit or whether actual legislation, some major areas that you think will be addressed during this tenure? Well,
we're still working on finalizing our education agenda. You're right, the term flies by, but certainly the SOL reform, the achievement gap issues that we've already spoken about on the K-12, pre-K, K-12 side of things. Another major one will tie in with, we talked briefly about workforce, and that is what do we do to help the pathways from our education system through higher ed to workforce? How do we get our young people ready for the jobs of the 21st century? And some of that is how do we help them know about the jobs of the 21st century? So many of our young people don't have a sense as they're coming through their high school years of what the career options are. And then they go into college and don't necessarily find it out there either. And then they come out as young adults still wondering, where do I fit into this economy? So we're working on, we will be working closely in conjunction with Secretary of Commerce and Trade and the whole workforce world on pathways from high school through the community colleges, through the four-year institutions, through apprenticeship programs, through other workforce opportunities, and to jobs.
It's going to be an exciting time. And Secretary Holton, thank you so much for being on This Week in Richmond. And we look forward to having you back and getting an update in the future on what's happening.
Great, David. Always fun to be with you.
Thank you.
This Week in Richmond is made possible in part by Dignity Memorial, caring for our communities with a network of funeral homes and cemeteries in Virginia and throughout North America. More information about Dignity Memorial's providers is online at dignitymemorial.com. Alpha Natural Resources, an energy company dedicated to respecting the land. Alpha Natural Resources, we power the world through the energy of our people. Haley Buick GMC, the place for a new Verano or Terrain Denali, in Richmond and online at haleybuickgmc.com. Everywhere there are lighting poles, there's one more opportunity to save money. Intelligent Illuminations provides cost-effective wireless lighting solutions for roadway or area outdoor lights. The Virginia Chamber of Commerce, the voice of the Virginia business community, working in legislative, regulatory, and political arenas to promote the free enterprise system. So what do you do? Information about getting involved in advanced technology careers, making everything from clean energy to life-saving medicine, is available at dreamitdoitvirginia.com. Additional support is provided by these sponsors. And by the members of Virginia's public television stations. Thank you.